our views on what needs to be done in terms of masking have evolved a little bit recently for Omicron. Cloth masks are, I mean, look, there have always been concerns about cloth masks as a deterrent to disease, but it is becoming increasingly clear that with an especially virulent strain of COVID like Omicron, that they are not going to provide sufficient protection. N95 masks potentially could. So Bernie Sanders is introducing legislation. He's got 10, or with 50 of his colleagues, by the way, to produce N95 masks, one of the most effective ways to stop the spread of COVID-19 and distribute them to every American free. So N95s for all, basically, is what he would like. It is the Masks for All Act, 15 co-sponsors, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey, seems like kind of a slam dunk that would send 3 N95 respirator masks to individuals. And we know that like with tests, N95s have become difficult to find. The prices have been jacked up. And this, for people who are at least willing to put them on, could be helpful. They want to use the US Postal Service, but also make them available at schools, pharmacies, and public transportation stations. I mean, that seems like something that could be done. The right, again, Caroline, would hate it. But I like that Sanders is trying to help people out, especially with the financial burden part of this pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think all of this just hammers home an idea that Bernie Sanders, I think, really brought to the forefront of American politics, is the idea that offering universal services to people, of course, within that there are going to be people who disagree and aren't going to use them and are going to be mad. But the idea is that if you give it to everyone, it eliminates the gap between those who would, but they can't afford it. And I think, his whole refrain was fight for someone you don't know. And I think it's really important that there does come that risk of it might be someone who politically disagrees with you, which is why I think these not having these means testing things for something like a mask that is, we should have sort of like a wartime production of these masks that everyone who wants one is able to get one. And yeah, they're 75% more effective. The campus that I'm on sent a message that was like, yeah, cloth masks are no longer valid. You have to be wearing a KN95 or an N95. And then that just begs the question of like, well, how can I afford this if the prices are being jacked up? It's again, it's the administration being caught on their back heels by saying, well, now we know that there's proof that these are way more effective. But at the same time, you can't say that everyone has to be wearing them in public spaces if you're not going to make them available. Yeah. And so I think this just universal, sending them everywhere so that no one has an excuse if they don't have one. I think that's what's really important. Because if everyone sent one, then it's harder to have the excuse of, oh, well, they were $100 on Amazon, something like that. So I hope this goes forward.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I saw the CDC is not expected to change their guidance for what sort of masks to wear, even though it's now. I mean, it's so clear that the cloth masks aren't up to the task. And so the CDC has, I think, received in the first year of the pandemic a lot of really unfair partisan criticism from the right. But I mean, recently, we can't look at what the CDC has been doing and really maintain the belief that what they're doing is following the science when they cut isolation times with no update in the science to indicate that it should be shorter, just business pressure to make it as short as possible. And now telling you to continue to use masks that we don't think are effective. Right. Yeah, that's nonsensical. And in terms of you mentioned the wartime effort to make these masks, that's a great idea. It also it would be a great idea a year and a half ago.
Exactly.
How is that not a thing that we were doing? Look at how fast fidget spinners popped up literally everywhere. We can't do the same thing with masks.
I know, it's really insane. And again, this also just gives the right more fodder for their argument that kids shouldn't be wearing masks, because they can then take these studies that say cloth masks are not effective, and they can say, well, then why are our kids wearing it? And it just gives them more and more ammunition to just then refute all the rest of the science. And yeah, 2 years. I can't believe we're still having this masking conversation.
We're gonna we need to have a big event for like the 2-year anniversary of TYT going into lockdown. And then we'll do it every year after that as the pandemic continues. That'll be fun. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.